some like DJ Nasty out there. We got a couple hits coming up. Chips on my mood, and these guys. Heavy violence, alright, whatever. Alright, let's get into it. Coming up next, the end of the world.
All right, well, thanks for yapping with me, fellas. We absolutely loved playing with you guys and meeting you guys. You were fucking sick live.
Oh,
Uh,
same to you, man.
Same.
yeah, thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you for coming up and fixing Aaron's crash cymbal halfway through one of our songs. That was goat status material.
And that was, and I feel like I did such a poor, I feel like I made it worse. I got up there and I was like, oh no, it's gonna break again. Yeah.
Aaron's known for hitting hits a little too hard, but that's why we love him.
No, I think it was
That's
upside down is the problem, right? Like,
It's upside down.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
The knob or whatever was like
yeah,
upside down and no, but no, like hit as hard as you can. Like, yeah, like that's, let it rip.
yeah.
Yeah. All right, so I'll just jump right into it, Who are you guys?
Who are we?
Well, I'd say we're first and foremost just friends that just want to play music since we were young. I want to say 13 when I met Adam, 12 when I met Alex, and Adam taught me like my first riffs on guitar. So it was only natural for all of us to one day be in a band together. Alex and Adam are brothers, so it's natural that we're all just still growing up and playing music together, you know?
Hell yeah, that's awesome. Where does the name My Time in the Arctic come from? Has that always been in the mind? Was it ever different at first?
I don't think we had a different name. No, Alex and Larry, correct me if I'm wrong, but
Hmm.
no, My Time in the Arctic is a song that I had written maybe 2010 or something. Alex, if you remember, speak
Yeah.
up, but sort of an allusion to a Weaker Than song about Shackleton and his trips to the Antarctic. They had a song about that I really was into back in the day and still am. So I tried to write a song that sort of played on that a little bit, and then I think it was Alex or Larry or both of you saw that probably on one of my old computers and were like, "We should call the band that," and then we kind of did, and that was yeah, we just kind of ran with it.
That
Hell yeah.
sounds right. All of that sounds right. Yeah.
It's a sick name, but it's a sicker name is My Time in the Attic, which is what put on the
Forgot
field
about that.
Dude, so we were on WDET, soft, oh, what is it? Humble brag? What is it?
Yeah.
Whatever. But he called us My Life in the Arctic.
Had so many different versions. For it was happening so frequently that we had the idea of like having a different name every show we play, just like a slight variation on it.
Yeah.
So you mentioned 2010. I know you guys had an original run about was it 20 was it like 12 years ago when you guys originally went on hiatus? Would you say what was your original run? Like what span was that from?
Maybe 1 year, man. 2011 to 2012.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean we only played what, three shows, guys?
I think only two.
Two shows? Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
It was
Both
very
uh,
brief.
both at the Magic Stick Lounge when that was still a thing back in the day.
Yeah. Yeah. Was it
Mhm.
just like typical stuff like, kind of brought you apart, like life getting in the way kind of thing?
Pretty much. I think Alex and I um both didn't play music for a while. After that, like we just kind of stopped playing because I mean, we've been playing together since we were 12 in other bands growing up,
Yeah.
always with the same group of people. And I don't know, I think we got to a point where we were just kind of like jaded, um, and not rightfully, but
Yeah.
yeah, we were just like we want to try something else, which was just like doing nothing. It turns out that was much better. So 12 years down the road, just why not try it again? And turns out we still love it. So
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
What was that original conversation like when you guys were thinking about getting back together? Was it unanimous? Did anyone need like convincing?
so Adam and I were trying to remember yesterday, like
Yeah.
how we even started up again. Alex, do you know?
I don't remember either. I've been thinking about this also, and I'm just
I
like,
think,
what?
I think
What? Why did we start?
one of us fired up a group chat and was like, "We should jam," or it was probably Alex that had the idea
Probably.
we should play again, and because we had talked a little bit about what it would be like to get another band we were in way back in the day back together, and I think Alex brought up a pretty good point that it was sort of past the time to do that. And this one, yeah, it just makes more sense with this one. Yeah, it was probably Alex getting a group chat together, and then we just kind of decided to play again in my basement, and it just made sense
Yeah.
and it felt good, and we just kept doing it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think
Eh,
also a year prior to that, Alex and I went to record in Chicago, like this hardcore album. And that was
Yeah,
kind of like the first time Alex and I had jammed in a very long time. And we were like, while we're at it, let's just do what we used to do.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, there were like so many like different things happening. It was like because like the we demoed stuff like like way back like 12 years ago or whatever when we like first started this, and those still are like I still listen to them like the because they're just like so earnest and raw, and like I think like three or four of those demos actually made it onto this album,
Yeah.
and they're still some of like my favorite songs, and I've been listening to them over the past like 12 years, and I think it was like there was always like my time in the Arctic songs. I was like, man, I fucking love these songs. It'd be cool if like we ever did this again. And then yeah, I booked some studio time to do some solo stuff, and then that kind of shifted. This was like 2023 to do some solo stuff, and I'm like, I asked Larry, I was like, dude, do you want to come like play on this shit? And then we ended up doing some wild, like weird, hardcore stuff, and then it was like, playing together's fun, and then I think, yeah, just naturally we're like, let's just fucking do My Time in the Arctic again, and I think that's just kind of how it went.
Yeah. I remember when you guys, when I saw you guys, I went and tried to find your music. I found you on Bandcamp, and it was like 4 or 5 songs on there. And then when you put
Dude.
out your first new single, they all went away, and I was like, no, those were so good.
Dude, that was so intentional. And it's so funny because like we wanted to do like some, I don't know why, but like it was like we need to do this like proper. And so like no one's ever we're like a new band. We're like check we're gonna hit the reset button and like delete the I had to like find the password for that band camp and like and but yeah, those that shit that you heard, yeah, was like the stuff from like yeah, like way, way back. And um but yeah, and so I think yeah, the reason why we deleted those was like I don't know, we wanted to like present ourselves like whatever properly, like with debut album,
Yeah,
like we're a band, hello,
we
like
did some of the vocals for some of those songs in a storage shed
Yeah.
in the phone lab,
yeah,
Yeah.
didn't we? That's funny.
yeah,
Well, it's interesting to hear you guys kind of had like a, you know, bit of a like soft entry back into the band because like when I first heard The Impressionist, it feels so like purposeful and like right out of the gate. It felt like you guys were thinking about what's on that song for so long. Uh, I think that song has pretty clear lyrics about like even like returning as a band. What do you guys have to say about that?
hell yeah.
Yeah, that's a new one. That one that's a last summer one. That's interesting that you
I
that you
think it,
drew parallels to the band coming back. Now that yeah, I didn't even think about that.
that was
Yeah,
actually the most recent one we've written.
Yeah, I would say that's the most recent one.
yeah, I think that was
Oh
like since
wow.
we're like we're a band now, and then Adam wrote that, and we're like, now we're really a band again, and like we heard that, we're like, that song fucking slaps.
That was a
But
great
yeah,
one to put out first. Like it's such an attention grabber. It's so fast and so emotional. I really love the line about not thinking in straight time. I think that's very powerful.
Thanks. Yeah, that's yeah, the whole idea of the song is just sort of, so I'm a little bit older than Alex and Larry, and I'm probably quite a bit older than you, Jack. I'll be 40 this year. And so as you kind of go through life and you reflect back on childhood and you kind of hit, you get sort of towards your late 30s and kind of have this like realization that, the world isn't for you anymore, and you're, kind of losing your grip on your youth, and what is the next, you're entering the second half of your life, and what does that look like to do the same things that you've done in the first half of your life? Will they carry you and be relevant through the second half of your life? And um yeah, so there's a lot of that in there. um
That's a great metaphor for the band, though.
it is, and I never put the two together until you mentioned that.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah,
Well, I think we
absolutely.
try to write lyrics like that where it's, open for interpretation, kind of vague overall, sense to
Yeah.
what the song's about.
Yeah. You guys all work on lyrics together? Is it just like a big pool of ideas?
I would
Pretty
say
much.
I would say yeah, so we share notes back and forth and suggest things, but most of the time I feel like whoever wrote a song is coming with a pretty well written
Yeah.
portion of the song, and then we'll
I,
change from there.
I will say that like Larry's like Larry and Adam are both like the best. Like I'll come with lyrics and I'll be like, I fucking hate this line. This is so stupid. What should this be instead? And like Larry or Adam will be like, it should be this. And it's always the like that's what it should have been. I'm like, how did these dudes, they're like my favorite songwriters. And so like
Oh, thanks,
they
Al.
Thank
they
you.
always, yeah, it's really cool
I
getting their
think that's
genius and
I think that's the sign of a healthy band is when you can say that about your bandmates. Like I think my favorite guitarist is Brody, my favorite
hell
drummer.
yeah.
So like I think that shows like you guys got a good thing going on.
We
Totally.
feel so.
Yeah. And there's like no ego in like between the three of us. I feel like it's there's no like, well, I wrote this and so it has to be
Right.
this way. Like we'll always bring something, we'll always try something.
Yeah.
And at the very least we tried it and we spoke up. Like there's no like, because you gotta, there's that vulnerability of like sharing, because it's a little embarrassing, to like be like, hey, I got this part and I don't know about it, but I want to show it to you guys. Um, and at the very least, whether it works or not, it's like we expressed it and we worked through it, and whatever, came out of it came out of it. So and yeah, like these Adam and Larry, are like, it's it just works. Yeah. So it's really an easy thing to do, to write with them.
I think a good example of that is, in a lot of our songs, I'll mess with the tuning on the high E, and sometimes the high B string on the guitar, tune it down or up depending on what it is. And so Alex and Larry, when they write songs, they'll write the lyrics and the guitar part. All three of us play guitar and drums and bass. Now that I think about it, we could be like Guster and just switch instruments like mid show or something. But they'll bring a guitar part to me, and I'll do some modifications in a lot of cases to try to make it fit with those types of tunings that we use in a lot of our songs. And there's never any pushback, or there's never any like, no, no, that's the way I wrote it, so it
Right.
has to be that way.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll also like bring lyrics for a whole song, and if I came with them, Alex ends up singing it, just because
Yeah.
it's like your voice sounds best on this. It's no like I own this kind of deal.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you think percentage of each of you sing on this record? I was having a little trouble telling who's who.
I love that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Well, Larry's the one that sounds like Chuck Reagan.
Yeah,
Right.
he's got that brutal thing going on, and then Adam is like the the talent. He's like the, you know, why isn't this dude famous yet? Um, and then I think I'm like the like, I don't know. I don't know where I fit in. I always hear my songs and I'm just like,
Alex
what are
sings
what are we
Eastern
what are we?
Palace and Rita.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. I
Yep.
see
And
that now.
yep. And then the rest are Adam and Larry. But it's, yeah, it's interesting, yeah, that we all three sing. Um, I don't know. I have differing opinions on it. But I think it works. It's just fun. So I think too much about it, it because it starts like just like overcomplicate something that shouldn't be, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just like, we wrote this and it works and it sounds good and we want to do it, let's do it, and that be the end of it.
Right.
Well, switching gears a little bit here. Who are your when you guys were originally playing, I know you said you didn't play that many shows. Do you remember any of your contemporaries at the time? Any bands you played with? Are they still around? Or like, what was the scene like when you guys were playing during that time?
I can tell you that during that time, there were a lot more bands that were like us.
Yeah.
Um, a lot more people in the general pop punk scene that were around Metro Detroit at that time. You had like Fireworks and Louder Than Bombs, which Alex was in, and all those guys, like countless bands. That
Yeah,
was awesome.
I don't know, like we kind of like slipped in like sort of on like the tail end of like the
Right.
right before like Turnover like blew up and like
Yeah.
Citizen and stuff like that,
Mhm.
like we kind
Yeah,
of like were like coming in on like the tail end of like when that shit was taken off, we were starting and then we could, and then again, yeah, just sort of like life happened and like we, stopped doing the band. But yeah, like we played with like, again, we only played like a couple of shows, but it was like, yeah, like,
Heat
we played with
lightning.
like, yeah, Heat Lightning, which was like dudes from like Razzle Dazzle and like Build and Destroy, and then Entrails.
One of the guys in that band was in Louder Than Bombs with Alex.
Hmm.
Yeah, he's also in like All Hype. So it's like kind of this like just this like core group of like folks that would like mostly like in like the hardcore scene. A lot of them are still like doing that today.
yeah.
Um, but like I don't know like who, yeah, like what was a band that like was like coming up like I can't remember like any bands that were like coming up with us that were like similar to us. That kind of sounds like vain and I don't mean it to be, but I like honestly I can't think of like any other like bands that were like doing it. Um
At
oh
least from around here. Yeah, I'm not sure.
yeah, because it was so like we were so adjacent to like the hardcore
Yeah, yeah.
group, because like
I
Yeah.
guess I could have
I,
said that instead of pop punk, but yeah,
well no, yeah, like that was pretty much it. Yeah, it was like, all those folks. Um and so yeah, I really can't think of like any other band. We were so short-lived, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like um
Who was that? Who
yeah.
was that like metalcore band from around here who got really big? What was their Roman? They're still like really big. They're like really
Oh my
popular.
God, yeah. What the hell? They're like a Hot Topic band. Yeah, what are they called? Um, Roman.
Not We Came as Romans.
He came
They're
as
from
Is it?
Roman.
Yeah, we came as
Yeah.
yeah.
Romans. Yeah,
They're
I
that's
that.
right.
I did not know they were from here. I did not know that.
Yeah.
yeah. I used to play in a band with the original drummer of them.
Dude,
Uh,
Oh,
fuck
okay.
yeah.
and yeah, I remember my like brother-in-law probably saw them. He's like your guy's age and like a huge like hardcore guy.
Yeah, hell yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was crazy back then. Like every band was like blowing up, it seemed like. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like that was like a really like explosive time in music. And I think that kind of like, was another reason what like kind of motivated us. Like we just, there were all these like cool bands coming out and doing like cool things. And we're like, let's fucking play. Like, like you see like a cool band or hear like, something new and it just motivates you to write and just play, and just, um I love that shit.
Is that motivation still there from the current bands in the scene, would you say? Do you think the current scene is like just
Oh,
as
dude, 100%. Like I think when
You
we played
guys.
with you all
Yeah.
and fucking yeah, like Ghostlight, we had like a conversation and we're
Yeah.
just like so stoked that like bands are doing something so like
Original.
specific, yeah, and original, yeah, and like something specific and direct and like very like on the nose. Because like I remember, back in like '07, '08, everyone was doing like Christian rock bullshit. You know what I mean? And it was
Switchfoot was like
so,
really popular back then. That's right.
yeah, and it was just like such like it just felt like such like like vain, like I'm doing this because I know I'll get like a girlfriend or something, you know?
Just
Yeah.
get
And
popular or what
Like
have
the
you.
Flyleaf early Paramore era.
exactly,
Right.
exactly, dude. Like and like everyone was doing that bullshit, and like now it's like I was so glad like you all like Acid Youth,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Melodic Canvas, like all these like cool band, like fucking we just played with Painted
Painted
Friends last
friends.
Good
night.
friends, man. They were great.
Yeah.
Have you heard of them, Jack?
What was the name?
Painted Friends?
No, are they into Detroit, like local?
Dude, they're somewhere in Michigan and they're fucking awesome, dude.
Yeah, they
Like,
were
yeah, we just played with them
really good.
last night. And like, yeah, again, like so motivating. Again, just to
Yeah.
kind of like draw it back, like just these bands that are like so like dialed in and like specific and like know their sound, you know.
Yeah.
You're all band included. Like it's so fucking cool to see that, like, you know, happening.
We were thinking like after we saw you guys, um, like me and Brody, Aaron, we're all like the same age. We're like 24, 26, that kind of thing. And we feel like really old in a lot of spaces, I gotta say. It's just really weird. We're in a weird age
Totally.
where we're like in the middle. We're always like really old or really young compared to everyone else we're around. And
Yes.
so, you know, Adam, you mentioned like, life and like getting older and stuff. Like seeing you guys rip was like really inspiring because I feel a lot of weird feelings about getting old sometimes. So seeing you guys, not to be calling you, not to be a backhanded compliment or anything like that,
No,
No, dude. Hey,
but
If
man.
you all guys are doing it, man,
yeah,
shit, I'm good.
if you fucking geezers are up there ripping, I know I can. But
Yeah,
it's
really
kind of like
exactly.
how like how I feel with Fugazi. Like Fugazi's peak.
yeah.
Oh, dude, totally.
They were all like
Yeah.
40, and like Kim Gordon didn't touch an instrument until she was like 27 or something. And
You
so
Right.
know, yeah, there's
it's
so
cool
many
to
stories of
yeah,
people just blowing up like after the fact, like after this sort of like, you know, their peak doesn't come for however many years. And like, it's not this like time, this finite, like you have to follow this timeline or you're never gonna reach your like full potential.
yeah.
Um, but that means, dude, that means like a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, glad
Because
to
we
have
just,
made you feel good.
Meaning
yeah,
that
because
in the least year old way possible.
no, no, not
No.
at all.
Yeah.
No, not at all,
Okay.
man.
I was
We're
like
like,
I
we're,
was I was like sitting trying to I was like, how do I say it in a way that doesn't make me sound like an asshole?
No, no, no. Well, I mean, look at Propaganda. I mean, they just came out with
Yeah.
another record on Friday, and these dudes are all in their 50s. You know,
Yeah, and it fucking rips.
Yeah.
they're
yeah.
still doing it.
Yeah. Yeah, like the it is so cool seeing like all these bands you guys are talking about, like Acid Youth. Those guys are so nice. Really like weird
So
original thing
nicest.
going on over there. Like
Yeah.
The, yeah.
I think like people there's so much saturation with the bands like everywhere. It feels really hard to get attention at all, like on your band because there's so many and like everyone is really doing like something really weird and unique. Like I feel like every band we play with, I'm always like, what the fuck genre would this be? This is so strange. Like
Yeah.
Exactly.
we played with a band called Revile, and they were all like 17 and 15, and they were like a dystopia type like death metal band, and they were crazy.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I love it, dude. Like it's this like I feel like younger folks that are doing music today are pushing it like never before, which I think is so fucking cool. I think it's fucking rad, like because feel like when I was 17, there was like the playbook. It was like I need
Yeah.
to write a
Yeah,
song that sounds like Piebald or fucking, like some shit like I don't know, like Lawrence Arms, Alkaline Trio, and now it's like like it's gone, like, and there's just this like totally new landscape of just energy, and
Right.
it's fucking
totally.
rad.
It's like you're never gonna, the chance of your band blowing up is like 1 billion to 1. So like you might as well like
Explore.
Brody and Aaron were always like, what if we like took this Fugazi type riff and like combined it with this Red House Painters riff, but then like
Send
played it
me that riff.
yeah,
Yeah,
play it backwards,
I'll
like
play it backwards. Yeah,
yeah.
totally. Yeah. Oh, fucking yeah. Hell yeah.
So moving on again as I unlock my phone to look at my questions. I listened to your album a few times. It's pretty baller. I'm gonna throw out some comparisons that came up to me in my mind while I was listening to it, and I just want to
Awesome.
see like what you guys think of those comparisons
Cool.
for like your influences possibly. First up, Jeff Rosenstock.
Wow. Okay.
Ah,
Uh, a band called Vroom. I don't know if you guys know Vroom. They're like an early 2000s band.
I do not.
No.
Check
no,
out
no,
Vroom.
really?
I can say, Jeff Rosenstock, awesome, but I never really listened much. Not an inspiration, but that's cool that you
Yeah,
find that in us. That's cool.
I
Just a
could
lot
see
of
it
like,
being there. Yeah, I could see it there a little
not even
bit. Yeah,
musically, just like kind of emotionally, you know?
yeah, yep, totally.
Joyce Manor.
Oh yeah, of
Sweet.
course.
Yeah.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah.
One of the greats.
And today, just because I was blasting them a lot, they're one of my favorite bands. Sunny Day Real Estate.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
just that '90s emo. Oh
I
yeah,
listened to those guys a bunch in high school, man.
Yeah, I'm
Texas
listening
is
to
the
them right
reason.
now.
Yeah, dude, like
Oh,
all
Texas is the
that shit.
reason?
Yeah, dude, all
Oh,
that shit.
dude.
Yeah,
Good.
it's all in there. Yeah.
They're back. Texas is the reason they're doing some shows.
Yeah, just listening to, do you listen to, shit, was that, it was either Turned Out a Punk podcast
Yeah, yeah.
or what's his face? The drummer of Texas the Reason was, I think he was on that talking about
Oh,
them
really?
being back. Yeah, I think it was Turned Out a Punk. I have to go look, but yeah, no, like all that like '90s emo shit, just I think like naturally comes through our shit, just because like I don't know. That's just the genesis of sort of all of our favorite bands is like it all stems from,
Yeah.
all that shit.
Yeah. Well, turned out a punk. Just going out on a limb here. Do you know Screaming Females are one of my favorite bands?
Fuck yeah, dude. I don't know. Wait, so they did an interview on Turned Out Punk?
The singer did.
Oh, okay. Hell yeah. I'll have to check that
Yeah.
out.
Uh,
Damien, the dude that runs that, Fucked Up. Do you listen to Fucked Up at all?
I've heard a couple. I listened to it out of
Good.
curiosity. I don't really remember much, but I remember thinking like, this is tight.
So good.
Dude, yeah. Yeah, the host, yeah, Damien, yeah, his band is fucking awesome. Yeah, Fucked Up. They're really cool.
That guy's voice is fucked up. It is insane.
It is, yeah,
I
for
feel like
sure.
I could tell listening to the podcast. He's like, my fucking kids are pissing me off.
Totally.
So running out of time because I couldn't afford Zoom Premium or whatever. So just luckily we're at my last question. Well, other than bands I've just mentioned, like who would you say were your influences, like then and now?
For me personally, my biggest would probably be hot water music. Um, just lyrically and melodically,
Yeah.
vocally, yeah, and the aggression, But I think overall as a band, shit. Well, you guys go ahead and say your personals, but I think we all know who, as a collective, who our number one is.
I don't even know, man. I was just like, I've just been like on a propaganda kick for like the past
Um,
like 9 years, just
same.
listening to him like at nauseum. Um, like just the light just sort of shines, like their hooks and like their pop sensibility is like so subdued, and it comes through just like it sort of reeks, if that's the right word, just reeks through their shit, like
Yeah,
it's
Well, they turn it up in like
yeah,
little bursts, and then it hits you, and you're like, "Oh my god."
yeah, like oh my god, that's a hook there, like kind of how like like Minor Threat like had hooks,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
like there were just those like barking parts, but it was also like a melody, and like
right.
so, like that's just what's been on my mind. Yeah, Adam, you go.
Yeah, I would say I would agree with you, Alex. I don't know. I think back to last summer when we were kind of getting back going on this, and I was like trying to write songs again. I was listening to like a lot of like balance, a lot of different things like balance and composure. And I was like, remember, Alex, I was like real into Catherine Wheel for a couple months.
Oh yeah.
Out of those guys, and you know, uh, yeah, Have Heart. That's another one I just always kind of listen
Oh yeah.
to.
No
Yeah.
silence half hour.
Catherine Wheel just popped up on my Spotify Discover Weekly.
Yeah, they're
Nice.
good, man.
Save that shit. Yeah. Yep.
Thought it was sick. Yeah, I added it to my day list or whatever.
Hell
Um,
yeah.
so
I would say as a band though, I was gonna mention the Lawrence Arms are probably the
Oh
one we
yeah.
draw most influence us the most, So
In
yeah,
fact, in Impressionist, I actually lift lyrics directly from a Lawrence Arms song
Yeah.
really?
in the
Oh,
bridge. Yeah. I never wanted to die old. It's too late now. It's the opening line to the song 17er by the Lawrence
hmm,
Arms,
hmm.
Yeah, the
which kind of
album.
captures the idea of that song very well. I mean, that 17er song is if 17er didn't exist, then I would have never had the idea to write Impressionist.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
like Lawrence Arms, like the everything you need to know about that band, the album called Greatest Story Ever Told. It's like front to back, just it's a perfect album. And I think that was like sonically what we all were like, let's go do the greatest story ever told, but if like we did it, you know,
I feel like that's how a lot of great songs get written is when you're like kind of like back of your mind influenced by something.
100%. Yeah, couldn't
Yeah.
agree more.
So, last question here. What can we expect next from My Time in the Arctic?
Dude, we're writing. We're
yeah.
like, we
Shit.
I hate loading gear. I hate like playing shows. Like I love playing shows, but I hate it. No, we're writing, man. We're gonna go try to like record this fall. Um
Hell yeah.
yeah, and get some more stuff out. We're just like really excited. And are really pumped to be playing again and just want to keep like to quote a infamous punk band from Detroit kicking out the jams. So
Nice, dude.
yeah,
Sure.
that's yeah. And then May 26th,
Fourth.
May 24th, Bodyguards record release. Dude,
Right? I'd invite
we're hyped, man.
I'd invite the bros to be on the bill. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
Dude, we're
dude.
stoked
Very
for it.
It's
Very
gonna.
cool.
very excited. Yeah. Yeah, stoked on your guys' new record, man. It's fucking
Yeah.
Oh,
really
thank you.
cool,
It's
man.
really awesome.
Love it. Yeah, we're really stoked to play.
Yeah,
And
dude, we're fucking excited to play with you guys again. It was like you guys, I can't name every band we played with. Obviously, there's no one we've played with who we didn't like, obviously, but you guys are definitely S tier. We agreed.
Oh, dude, thank you.
It
I
means
thanks
know
the
so
what
much,
world.
that
man.
means. I know what
Same to
that
you
means.
guys.
I have an 11-year-old son. He told me all about S tier and A tier and all the lingo, man.
I'm, s-
So
I'm,
thank you. That's a huge compliment.
I
we
don't
just broke
even
a
know.
language barrier right there.
Yeah.
Honestly, that was the first I've ever heard it. So
Same, but it felt like a
Yeah.
compliment, so I was just
It-
yeah.
nodding. I was
You
like,
need
hell yeah.
Because his name's Henry, and he comes to me and he's like, "Dad, I forget what it was." He said something that we experienced together. We watched a video or something. He's like, "That was S tier," and I'm like, "What the hell does that mean?"
What's so funny is he probably doesn't know like where that comes from. It comes from Sonic. Like when you would complete a level perfectly, it would say S tier.
Oh, really? He
He
probably
actually
does.
loves Sonic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably does. I'll have to ask him.
Yeah. Well, My Time in the Arctic wax figures out now. Out now everywhere. And
Right.
thanks so much for chit chatting, guys. It's been awesome. We
Yeah.
Thanks for
Yeah.
having us, man.
we have a minute 50 to spare. Can't wait to see y'all May 24th.
It's gonna be
Yeah,
awesome.
dude. Can't wait. Thank you for
Very
doing
excited.
this, man. This was like a blast.
Yeah,
This
dude.
was, yeah, this was awesome.
Happy to talk to you guys again.
Surprise me, do the worst that you can. Deprive me of meaning and provide the consequence. Hold my head beneath the surface. Hold me out a 10th floor window and let go. I'm on my back, there's a slow song in my head. 7, 8, 3, 4. I can't think 37 was a bad dream. I never wanted to die old. It's too late now.